respect your opinion when it comes to dealing with the youth, and you talk about talking to them. But let me explain something, my friend. More than 90% of the young people you see on the streets there, they all went to school, you know. They all went to school. And they're educated even more than many of us each other here. And I don't see no need most times to go down to talk to them, you know. Because in the same way, they can find themselves from their homes to go on the street and sit in the corners and keep talking. They know their needs. They know their needs, and my friend, what they have to do is get to the people who they know can help them with their needs. Let me give you a typical example. I don't mean any harm. I left the Bayfront a couple of years ago on a Sunday afternoon, going to my home. And as I arrived at the bus stop, you know, the entrance to my home, there was a young man sitting on a pail. And from approaching this young man, I recognized he looks like somebody that's troubled. I said, young man, what is your problem? He addressed me as Uncle John. He said, Uncle John, I have a problem, you know. I said, man, I recognize you have a problem. What the problem is? He said, Uncle John, I dropped out from school and I didn't do well, but I want to go back to do something in school. I said, wow. So I said, where are you going right now? He said, I'm going to the river to do some washing. I said, when you get back from the river, come check me at my home. He said, I pass and check your wife, you know. Your wife told me, boy, I'm not working, you know, is my husband alone doing something? However, when he comes, I will talk to him. I said, okay, when you come from the river, come home and talk to me. Or come check me, I will deal with that. So as soon as I reached home, my wife explained to me what went on. I said to my wife, you know something? We do not have. But the little that we have, we're going to try to use it to do something. You know why? I would hate to know that tomorrow this young man finds himself in a certain situation that becomes a problem in the community. And there was a time when he was crying out for help and nobody helped him. So we're going to do what we have to do. And I took this young man from my home on a Monday morning. I brought him to town, brought him to the Ministry of Education, spoke to the lady there, got some finance, and I doubled it from my pocket and had him to go to further his education right in Roseville there. And sometimes when I'm going to transport my fish, I would take him along with me instead of having to pay the bus, take him along with me and take him to town. So he needed help and he knew how to get help. So I'm saying there are others in the community who are aware of the situation. Not only when it's for Siwo. Not only when it's for Siwo, my friend. They listen to the news all the time. You want to tell me none of them, they're not aware of this town hall meeting here tonight? How many of them are here? I'm not saying we have to ignore them, you know. But we have to be real. We have to show them the situation that confronts them. And that is my problem with them. I'll rest my case here for now.
All right, thank you. Anybody else want to make a point? I see Mr. James. Mr. James, you know I'm going to call on you, you know. Honorable Shenfield, you cannot come and sit down in this place and do say something.
I want to celebrate on them young people because we're talking about young people a lot. And we don't really have enough youngers there so I will contribute a little bit on that, right? The young people and them is not lazy.
Hold on a while. I'm hearing another meeting somewhere.
The young people, right? They're not really lazy. You would say young people lazy, right? Is the motivation to do work. For somebody to do something, they have to be motivated to do it, right? Any job you go into, are you not motivated to do it? You're unwilling to do it, or you want to do it properly. Watch the general government system on a whole. Most people I can see with my eyes go to work in the system, but are not comfortable with the position they hold in the system. First reason I say that is because you go by a health center, for my example, or a hospital, and you will sit down there from 6:30 sometimes in the morning, right? Waiting for like a service. You have your things to do. Everybody is individual who do their own separate jobs, right? The nurse or the doctor will come there at 8:30, 9 o'clock, maybe sometimes even 10, right? None of them want to be concerned with the 25 people that sit down there patiently waiting for them. All them come in on their phone, brab, they talk about everything they do last night, what you had in your face, like as the father place you come in, and you come and disturb them from continuing the normal routine. We growing up in the society now turn around. Like I was saying, Mr. Ricky was saying, like, we need to pass, older ones need to pass on certain things to the youth. That is a very true statement. It have a time in a person age they call after adolescent, right? It have a time in your life where you have to come out from adolescent and come to become a man. That's what the definition of it. But it have a stage you go through, rites of passage. That back in the time that was more used to define between a man and a boy. Right now in this present society now, the rite of passage is being erased by the technology become AI, artificial intelligence, and the phone, internet. That is disturbing the rite of passage because we have many of our young men acting like women in the house. We have to, as young people, and elders especially, elders, not only young people, elders, we have to pass on or help our youths reach the rise of passage. We have to help them get to that stage. Because remember the man, the boy under his mother wings, growing up from a year till he's 16 to 18 years, right? So at the end of the day, we need the older men to teach the younger ones how to be men and show them the direct things that make a man. Because right now we have a thing called the internet. And if you read the internet by fees, it's two words, enter and net. And net is a trap, right? Surround you and catch you. That is a net, right? So anytime you enter a net, you go into a phase to destroy you. Something cool. Majority, almost 95% of the world is trapped in the net. Because the internet now multiplies whatever person you be 3 to 5 times. So if you is a arbitrary person and use the internet, it will magnify that 5 to 10 times more arbitrary. If you is a positive individual, you will magnify that and do better things. So we need to change the society and help our youth grow up. Because I see Dominica, we take in growing up. Too different. Growing up is not having sex and making a child. Because I see personally, plenty children now raising children. And we can see coming down from the larger part of society, which is the government, raising up the people on a whole. And it's like, we don't want our next generation of coming to not have the knowledge to see that if they don't stop it today, they will want change. Right now, if we just keep on going to our trajectory, then every living thing, the whole world decides they want to do, we're going to put that in our system. And that is a bad thing because we are God-fearing nation, so we should move according to God and His doctrine. Right now, we are looking to all kind of modernized things and not taking into consideration what we have on the ground here. Marigot, we have Melbourne River, That is one of our main resources in the Marigot that wouldn't naturally dry up. We still have other ones like the Sugar Spring, Pussy Gutter, we have resources that can make Dominica come a man. Dominica need to grow up with the Chinese pain. Let's see, it was CI. I was listening to the past 15 years of my life. Since I did high school, in 2005, 2005 years and college 2007. Since that time, they make agriculture trying to become extinct. You check, they introduce tourism, which right now is slowly dying. The last project they brought to us was CI. It don't have much people working on that field there. And that is not a resource that can sustain itself. That is a resource that can put slavery back on your people because we just emancipate ourselves with people who are buying us as commodities to their workforce. So if we come up and go and sell our nationality or trade or make money with the same brain we have, we are one head, one hand, two long. We bring in a set of money in our country and citizen higher investment. Why we don't try to take up some initiative and make some of these investments as Dominicans and stop bringing people whereas tomorrow we may become second-class citizens. I see you can be selling 46,000 passports. You have a population of 70-something thousand people. What a day and a day, right? When you sell 46,000 passports, that is more than half your population. That you're selling them passports there to people that are financially more sustainable than us. So when the 46,000 people come in our country, right, you start to divide them and sell them out to whichever place you're going to go. That means my daughter coming up there, she will know check me, and she is 25. All my little now, she will go pen right there because they build a couple of apartments for them up there. And that many don't meet her. So I and I don't want us not to be great up to see how rich we be. Dominica is one of the smallest countries in I was going to primary school that was number one. When I was in primary school in 2000, from 1994, so there, 1994, 2000, you always hear number one, Dominica. Export, Dominica. Industry, Dominica. Dominica. Education, Dominica. Dominica was one of the most productive. Dominica was on a pedestal back before 2000. From that, it declined. You on the road there right now, young men say, boy, every day I see on Dominica. Dominica getting more and more backward. And watch that, we go in the same places where we used to be on top of them. Because most people that leave Dominica, not going to America, England, Africa, Spain, they go in Tortuga, Antigua, St. Lucia, and use the same currency as us. We have to learn to see, we have to come up on that in tribalization, we will raise our pay. We have done 150% increase by 1979. Right now in Dominica, what is 200% increase for the salary of people because our state or economy go in a place now where we cannot afford things. So people have to look into those things from state like. Boys, let's come together as people and watch on this one and that one. If you suspect I come in a purple shape, you know what purple, what colors purple coming out of? Purple coming out of blue and red. You mix them two colors there and you want purple. And we call it, I want your M news, and that is a call because Dominica democratic country and I suspect now. Election start. You know why I say that? Because Dominica need a new rise of a new set of people to take up the power. You understand? We need more women like Tony that we need from Salisbury to stand up and not divide yourself and say, I is orange, I is blue. always black, green, and red. The parrot of the day. Yes. All you have to try to bring back Dominica, and we need to take out the teeth that and don't fix up and use that teeth in the place. Get Dominica to a new level. Before I finish it, a country, right? Anytime you know how something is dying, you have to look on, you see, the generation that's supposed to sustain it, you have to look on that. And once you see that generation there, leaving the place, that generation that can sustain a country is from the age of 18 to 45 years. That is the way back to the country. And anytime you see that part of your country, you rush into the airport, go to the port, and say they can look for someone else to live and have a big problem, just a problem, but you have to
kindly note that the views expressed here are not those of MNews.
To form a new set of means and ways that, because Carolina is not going, it is not going. You need the young men there on the front line, and you need the older men there to give us counseling and guidelines. All that is assistance and all that. And the men, the young men need to be the president and the prime minister. So they have to step up and say, I don't know why family. Stay on the place because we come out from that tribalization a long time. Since 1914, right? Why is the name Marigot pledge that we take out black man and make them be free of this slavery, bring them back to Africa. Bringing back to Africa wasn't to take on a boat to Africa. That's right. It was to call the shop. When they put us on a boat, and for 400 years, they beat us about ways that somebody else can make that. We have to give up on that way and see each and every human being has the particular purpose, and everybody is meant to do something. You have nobody on the pedestal, I have nobody else, because God never made a king and a queen and man. He made a man and a woman, and for them to communicate and to be one to run this community. All right.
I really like that contribution because it brings things back into perspective. It brings things. Huh?
He needs that job.
No, you can't. It brings things back into perspective because
he needs some ministry.
That is one of the things I really admired as a boy. That, and my father always reminded me of that. Where you work and how much money you have doesn't make you somebody. It's values like that making you somebody. Values and principles like that making you who you are. Nothing else. Where everybody can go to school, everybody can have a degree, everybody can drive a vehicle. It's a man that's teaching to drive vehicle. But having values and having principles and recognizing who you are like that is what makes a human being valuable to their country and to their community. So Vanilla, I want to appreciate you for that comment and that contribution that you gave. I want to appreciate you and single you out for always coming to things like this and informing yourself and making sure that you can contribute far better than some of us that go to university. Because we go to university and it don't do no good for us. True. Instead we're using it to oppress other people instead of to lift them up. Right? One thing I want to add to what you're saying that is very important is we can do for ourselves. We have to not learn because we know how to learn, but we have to start doing it again. You have to start doing it again. Passing the rite of passage. In different cultures have different kind of rites of passage. So I don't know exactly which one he was talking about. But one of the things that we can start doing again in our community is just having respect. Respect. A simple thing like that. Respect. I grew up in the community and I know that I had to respect was not optional. And I didn't have to know you for me to respect you. It was just, I know I had to do that. That was part of who we were. We have lost that. And the way we have lost it is in a way that is very sad, because now I remember I'm a big man. So Richie can't come and tell me nothing. I don't find Richie. Who is Richie? To be able to come and tell me anything. But remember, I smarted. So Richie can't come and tell me nothing. As young people, we have lost that. We think we have the internet, the trap, we in there. The trap, you see that thing there? It's a trap. Do we bet? Oh, some of us have neck pain. You know why? Because we like that whole day. The whole day. But we don't know that our elders, they pass the road before us and they have something they can teach us. Some of our elders, don't get me wrong, some of them lost their way too, not all of them. But generally we have to build back respect in our community, where we as elders demonstrate respect for each other, and young people and old people demonstrate respect for one another. That way, when I respect you, I can learn from you. You can teach me something. The other day you teach me something about the male nutmeg tree. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You teach me something. I didn't know that. Mr. Paradise Big Farmer, he never know that night I call him his name. But because we respect one another and I have respect for you, even as a young man like myself, I was able to listen. When we rebuild respect in our community, not just because of where man working and no, just respect. Just respect, generally, soft respect. We will listen, and when you listen, you can learn. That's one way we can start rebuilding and doing for ourselves. Just build back respect, demonstrate respect. Just demonstrate it. It's not hard, and we don't need no handbook to talk about respect. We know what to do. And the second thing is, we need to do things together more. We need to do things together more. Mr. Paris have a piece of land, or Jason doing something there. But why I can't go and help Jason without Jason to give me no money? Why it have to be for money? Why it have to be for money? Because Jason knows something I don't know. But I strong in something and Jason strong in something. So if I help him where I strong, when I need his help, he will help me where he's strong. And we can share. But if I don't respect Jason, but Jason and them always want to make money. Me Jason gonna build his house, I'm gonna help Jason do nothing. That is our mentality. If you're not paying me, I don't want to hear you. Once we think that currency, that kind of currency is all we have, we lost already. Information is the most currency. Strength, unity is the currency that we have to start resharing in our community. So volunteer and just go and help somebody. We can do that as men. We can start to do that as men, and it's not taking much, because every one of us have something that we are good at. So we can share it with somebody else and just volunteer. Demonstrate respect and do more things together. When we start with those things, then we can move on to start generating different kinds of currency. But we have to do it as a community. When Dominica starts doing that, and we have to do the politics. Will do that, but we must eat, and we must feed ourselves. Nobody not going to feed us. We have to find a way to feed ourselves. We must clothe ourselves. We must shelter ourselves. We must teach ourselves. Those are things we don't need a government for. We don't need a government for our community to come together and teach it young men how to light fire and how to cook without lights and cook without gas. And teach our young men basic life skills, so that when a hurricane wipe out your country, our young men in our community not handicapped, because we know how to do those things, and we can rebuild our community from scratch and build on each other's skills. I just wanted to add that to what you were saying. I think it's necessary. Thank you again for your contribution.
Thank you. Yes, I like the direction of the Okay, I was saying I like the direction of the discussion, because that is what the values. Without values, we are nowhere. So we need to be a caring community. Any more questions? our contribution, we don't have to have a question, you can contribute. Personally, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. The thing is, it wasn't my intention to make any comment tonight. The fact that I sit with these young people every time they meet at the executive level, I listen to them and I contribute them. So whatever they say, I was part of it. But I must compliment this young man in a very special way. I must. And one of the reasons for that is somebody I know very well. Because I leave my home at about between 6 and 6:30 every morning, except Sunday. Right. I meet him on the road. So that in itself shows the kind of person he is. It's not just about coming here. Young guys around like him. Yeah, just as smart as him in Marigot. And that's why I love Marigot too. Because everything you need to live, to look like somebody, to be somebody, Marigot have that in it. Everything. So I'm happy for the young man, and I just hope that we can have other young taking the same approach. Speaking to four resources together and to build Marigot. Thank you very much. And that's it.
Good night. Let me say good night to all the people.
Hello.
In this forum here tonight. I know Delwood Paris, I know Cindy. The Cindy I mixed up Cassie. Because I so accustomed to them, I call each other Cassie or Cindy. I'm accustomed to Cindy because I sell from Cindy load every day. One of the things I heard Cindy talk about is the Cassie. Is the men's symposium. Why they don't take the name you give this the men's symposium? I hear you talk about the name.
So the name, he wants to put the name. So I call it Gentlemen's Club. They didn't like the name because it sounded a little bit on the other side. They didn't like the name. They called it a bit. Yeah, so they wanted to take the meaning of a gentleman's club, so they didn't take my name, but they're working on it. They're working on it. What it is going to be like is something like what Vanilla has been speaking about, and Del as well. It's like a community effort when there's a young person, a young man who, let's say he wants to start a farm, he's getting other young people to come together. We go on journey, we cook, and we work with him on that stuff. To help him start it, we cannot give him the fertilizer, and we will see how we can take it from the agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture, etc. But at least, you know, instead of having to pay somebody 5 days work to begin, we come as a community and we start the project together just to help get different feedback on different projects. And there's not really one, but they didn't like the name because it's probably something that would be like what my honorable friend was.
Yeah, so because we're not ready to launch it yet, so we didn't talk about it. But it's along the same lines of understanding the currency that we have that is bigger than money, right? So let's use farming, for example, or any business. there are many people inside and outside of Marigot affiliation that are strong in certain things. In farming, majority of us, we know how to farm. We have the majority, like Mr. Anderson was saying, you can find a green thumb in Marigot anyway. You turn around, close your eyes and point on somebody, they can plant something and get it to grow. But a lot of us don't understand the business of agriculture. I learned something from my father a number of years ago. You see, I doesn't call myself a farmer, I call myself an agricultural entrepreneur. Because there's a business side to agriculture that we sometimes neglect. And if you don't know, if you don't have the expertise, and if you don't start growing your business, you can have challenges that probably unnecessary, because your neighbor, someone like Mr. Henderson, who has been in that for years, looking at, she always telling his fig that's at the school. You understand? It's because he understands the business. So we can learn from people like that in the business of agriculture. And not just agriculture, I use it as an example. We have technology, we have law, we have construction, we have manufacturing and agro-processing. All of those talents we have in Marigot. But we want to tap into it using a bigger currency that is bigger than money. We will share it with each other because nobody has monopoly with information. But we're just trying to find a structured way to do it so that we can launch the project. And I just want us to state that any ideas that you have, please feel free, share with us. More than just this, what we've talked about tonight. Any idea you have, write it on a piece of paper, get our numbers, send it in a text. We can use it, and that's what we're here for. But that is the idea about the men's group that we want to have. And we want to start with men. We're not leaving out the women. The women will have their similar thing. They are stronger in different things than we are. But that is the intention, and it is not a project. It will not end. It will be a program that we hope will continue to grow for years and years and years, maybe even after we go.
Thanks for that answer. On the young people. I am one of the guys organized Dublin League and the cricket, softball, crickets. I had further discussion, and they'll be here to talk about it plenty of times. I want to sit down with Mr. Paris for his contribution to sponsor for the number of years that I went through, but I won the championship. But I believe I'm going to come back again, and I'm going to start to rally as a young set of people again. Everything I'm going to come to you, 2 years I'm going to come to you. Everyone, Mr. Paris, I'm going to be there. That's my work, and I want to say thanks to Mr. Paris again, 100% for supporting the young men. I believe sometimes when we talk about young people that young people are not willing. I believe sometimes we look at them like they are, because the way they talk, the way they do things, we want to get, like some of them, they say things that will get under your skin. I deal with them a lot of times because there are times I take them and go and play cricket, and when I go and play cricket with them, I have to give them the breakfast and the lunch, because when I go and pick them up at 9 o'clock in the morning, they don't eat yet, so I tell them, fellas, I'll contribute that. Yeah. That's part of my contribution. But one of the things I always say to those young guys, all right, like Tony was talking about the building, I'm security at school, right? So when they come in the school here, all I ask them, some of them walk on, they disrespect you. I tell some of them, they want to go to school, want to come in the district, you want to walk them in the school here. The principal, the teachers, they're getting condom in the school here, they're getting marijuana stump in the school here. Where I keep on telling the principal, you cannot have the school without a gate and fence. I cannot understand the government spending $1 million and they don't put in no fence in the school. Majority of the schools that they might go to and visit, they are fenced. They are fenced. Even the simple little wall going down there, they spend $2 million, not even the edge they fix. That is something that not to make us. This activity we have. It's true, no fence up, everybody going to come in school, everybody going to drive down. But some of the people that come there and they disrespect. Like they come there and you're talking to them and you're trying to tell them, fellas, look, that is that, not to do that. And the thing is, I know most of them, I know all of them. So why going to call the police for them and the police going to arrest them and lock them up? So I tell them, fellas, sit down there. Chill out of this game when you come to watch. But they want to be on top of the porch. They want to run around the school and I go and call it. They want to knock me down. They want to give me one bullet in my head. They want to cut me up. And the other little guy, he came down there. The other came there. After he done, he just slammed the door. So I went to him and said, boy, my partner, I know you very well. Why you doing that for? So I tell him, you see, from now on, I know what I do. I'll start opening my cutlass because it's cutlass I want to give me. He tell me, you come my girl over there and you shoot me.
Okay.
I said, my brother, when you're ready, come on. I don't want to run from you, I don't want to do nothing for you. But sometimes when I sit and I think about what he tell me, it's shit that trying to make me come back young again. Trying to make me come back young again. But I don't want to take on that issue there and make it, I don't want to make that push me around. One of the things I want to see happen in my community, togetherness. I want to see we come back with more. You know what I mean? Our sports, Tony, good job. Good job. I'm one of the commentators on the Tony, and we have all the minutes to run. Don't forget that. That's about to bring the life of the party. That's about to bring the life of the party. So one of the things I want to see in our village, that we bring back our village together. Kasi I like the symposium, the women's symposium. That is something to bring our ladies together. And our men's symposium, we're going to do that. You know, I see Tony check it with you and the women's symposium. But good. And on the next hand, the Christmas, I mean, we know last year what the Christmas tree lighting, I don't know what is the future of that. We have a new council, different things. So we have, and we go and do our Christmas lighting. I'm one of the NC on the Christmas tree lighting, so you know I always there, Miss Richie, the one who do the prayers. So we have a lot of things to think about and to do, and we want this village. Marigot can come back and we do it, go before him. But it's just that we have to build it and make it something successful. So let me say good night, thanks to everybody, and one love to everybody. Thank you.
Okay, as I see the president of the Marigot Community Tourism Committee, a number of people have been calling for the bonfire and operation and back to where it was before COVID. And I was calling on you so we can try together to revamp that family-oriented event. I know independence is fastly approaching, and you know it have a lot of events. So I don't know if we can try and organize something after or during, before the year ends. I think I can give us a little update on that. Okay?
Yes, good night. I wasn't dressed for this occasion. I just want to make sure I support the movement. All right? Members in front. Big up to the DJ. In relation to the bonfire specifically, I guess you know the runners because you're a member of tourism also. We basically stopped the bonfire because we couldn't afford to run it after COVID. COVID basically made us spend almost $7,000-8,000 preparing for COVID. Now bonfire is our basic means of income. And unfortunately, we still did not pass the test, so money actually going. So we have a little issue getting back to where we was because of COVID. So we're still working on it, we're trying other means, but we would appreciate if we could have a sit down and organize it properly, organize it, get a strategy moving forward, because most of the decision was basically on the committee. So it's definitely something we will get understood. I know that we need to discuss exactly what happened now, but definitely we don't put it at the back burner, we just try to clean it properly. Right, but one thing I came here to do besides the support you, I wanted to acknowledge the activity on the board. Now, I don't really think of it strange. For years, I always say it are plenty means of doing things. Now I watch young fellas and I talk at the last meeting on that dealt with Cassie Tony and I respect that I have to go with it. Some people really respect it. But to see how you go about it, you use a group. You don't make it political. You bring in basketball. Some people really feel bad about you leaving them out. But you see the most important thing is start. You understand? There's some people who might not acknowledge also. But I think it's a big one to continue to bring up all of that. And good luck.
Just before we go on, I just wanted to, the basketball tournament is on. To be on next week, this weekend, Friday and Sunday this week. What I would love to see after that is that we have a football tournament. And then we have a volleyball tournament. And at the end of it all, we have Marigot Sports Committee that will start to work as one single unit to develop our playing field at Lion Park. This to me is where we need to go. And I really hoping and praying that we move in that direction. We unify the sporting groups and we form an umbrella organization that will take sporting to another level in this community.
All right. I want to just make a suggestion about the young men and men. We have an issue with pulling up, right? Most young men pull up because of the thing they used to call a drug, called marijuana, right? Now it graduated from a drug to become medical marijuana. Marigot is headed in agriculture in Marigot West College, right? We have some of the richest lands on Dominica. So I think for the diaspora to get a little initiative with a possible market for medical marijuana, because if you realize that a lot of young men sit on the road waiting to smoke. So let us reverse this psychology and put it, the smoke big money, because what happens on the block more is because of the amount of money we get in, and marijuana is a top currency on the global market. So and we try to put it because you have a good name, so and we try to push for medical marijuana to come on the marijuana and be more. We try
Before the next person, I want to just respond to that. That's a very good idea, but we have to do it right. We have to do it right. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but we have to. I think if we can form a type of organization, and if anybody has the information, we have to get a license. It is I've been hearing, I don't know how factual it is, I need to verify that people are getting private license in Dominica to plant marijuana for the purposes of medical exploration. I don't know if that is true. I would like to find, if that is true, I think we should find a way to get a license. And if fellas know how to plant good medical cannabis, whether it's sativa or whatever the case is, then we can explore it. Because the stigma about cannabis is no longer there. In Dominica, it is legal. Somebody can correct me. I see Mr. James is there. It is legal to plant. I think everybody or one individual is allowed 3 trees. I don't know what the size of the tree is. It may be small, but you have 2 trees. I don't know if a group of us, Tony can plant 3, Cassie can plant 3 on the same piece of land. I don't know. So it's worth investigating, it's worth finding out, and if there is opportunity in it, like in dashing and yam and planting and vanilla and cocoa, if we can add cannabis to that, and we can find a way to employ some of our young men in the same fields, teach them how to go and plant their own fields legally. I want to say that for everyone used to hear. Legally, so that we can tap into the market and exploit ourselves. No, don't wait there, I never asked you that. I think we have another question.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Charles, I just want to continue from where you left off in regards to the Lion Park. Because for years now I've been thinking that it's high time that something be done about Lion Park. A structure is there in terms of the building. It just needs refurbishing and get it going. And we all know that sport is something that brings people together. So if we can get Layo Park back on stream, I think it will help a lot to get the young men off the street, so to speak. Because what I observed for a while now is that we have our own people here, our sports people, who show a lot of appreciation. And some people might not want to hear me say those things, but that's what I'm seeing. They show a lot of appreciation for the field in Londonderry, which is part of the Wesley constituency. Yeah. But our own, there's somewhat kind of neglecting it. Let's come together as a people, as a group, as a community, and get Layo Park back as it was at one stage. I think we need to do that at this present time. Thank you.
At present, the village council, present village council, went down there twice, 2 days, and they actually did some cutting, and also K-Tech Troy went down there with his excavator and do some leveling and cleaning off of the road. So we have started, and also I know Mr. Davis don't like to hear about the caretaker. And well, it's not been as the caretaker, Mr. Riviere. He spoke on the opening of the basketball tournament, and he said he's going to try and reach out to the government to help in the upgrading of Layo Park. He mentioned it. It was live on GIS, so he mentioned it. So I will keep in contact with him to follow up on that, because he's in the government. I have to go through him eventually. I like to follow the channels. Because yes, I need to follow the channels. So I'll keep reminding him about that, Layo Park, because we have our only gold medalist, Alison James, still here breaking records. Alison went in a competition in Venezuela, in Trinidad, under 25. Alison is what, 16? And he broke his personal best. Although he missed a competition, a school competition, he was still qualified based on his record in Carifta to make it to the meet under 25. Big man, And he came out 5th. That is senior competition, he came out 5th. And it's in 16 years. So next year, it will have place for Alison to send that. And he growing, he's stretching. So we need to encourage him and get Layo Park upgraded as soon as possible.
Before we go a little further, I just want to say that Layo Park, as it is now, nobody will just come and invest in Layo Park or put money in Layo Park, even if it comes from caretaker or from it. We need to put the whole program together, put a costing and estimate as to what is it that is needed to bring it up to the level that we wanted, put a document together so that we can present it to the government and to everybody else. This is how we have to go. We cannot go to, it's just another pie in the sky. We have to prepare us. What is it that we have to do? Oh, I don't know. No, we have to prepare ourselves, do the thing right. So when we stick it on them, they have what a choice but to say, we can help or we cannot help. So if we cannot help, we can go to other people. We can present the document and raise funds. So we have to prepare ourselves. So the first step is to put together a document with the estimated cost and what is it that we want done in that park. I think that is the way we have to go.
Totally agree. very few. But then I go back to Mr. Charles again. And bear with me, please, Mr. Charles. There is the Minister of Sports, and you must deal with the Minister of Sports directly. If not directly, he has his PS. This business of caretaker, we have to get away from that. The source, Mr. Charles made a point where we must, Mr. Richard Charles made a point where we must put figures together and present it. So if it means we have to do that before you meet him, so be it. But please, this business of caretaker.
It was last year we submitted a proposal for the fund in town, GCF, but it was unsuccessful. But we have estimates for Lion Park, and we have estimates for other things. Yes, and I know you don't like to hear the caretaker, but he was the one that we gave the proposal to for that improvement. So we did try, because we recognize that Lion Park is important. From a council standpoint, we started cleaning up the field, and Mr. Linton came on board, Honorable Lennox Linton, he came on board. He assisted with funding to clean up. He himself came physically to assist with raking up the grass, which was good to see. And he was with us, and we did try. We cleaned Lion Park, but to maintain it cost a lot of money. And there was certain dynamics to the equipment that was given. But we have estimates for plenty of stuff in Marigot. We have some for the roads, we have some for the building, because I personally, along with Mr. Richard Charles and the other Mr. Linton, Ryan, and the other Mr. Linton, Kenny, they assisted us in making proposals for different buildings in the community, for hurricane shelters, and for basically refurbishing them so that we can be resilient. So we have quite a few estimates that we did submit to different places, but I will not say it's because of where we are from, but sometimes it tends to look like that because we have done a lot as a council for the past 3 years with Stacey Williams and the other councillors, and it was very disheartening. The only thing I saw coming to fruition was the building. We have a building at Melville Hall for disaster management from the Red Cross that was funded by the Dominica Red Cross and the French Red Cross, Guadeloupe, Iraq. And we're still trying to get the building up to par because funds are not forthcoming. Things are tight, that is what we were told. So we have to get light there, we have to get water, and we want to fence the building and basically get supplies, because if something happens, we shouldn't have to wait for somebody from Rosa to bring something for us. So we have that facility. I just want to bring that to the public's attention, and we need to build on it so we can be prepared in case of something happens. Because right now we have a lot of things that we did do, but they have not materialized. So I just wanted the public to know that.
Hi, good night everyone. I'm looking forward to the community building activity that Senator Reid mentioned. So the Women's Symposium, the Christmas party, what else? Yeah, Independence, etc. I'm really looking forward to those things because I don't like the fact that we always have to go to Roseau for something. Last year we had a really good Christmas. We had a good Christmas tree lighting, and the program was really well put together. I think everyone enjoyed that program. So I want to, give my support whatever way I can help with these programs. I am willing to offer my service. I really like planning things. me and Salima, I get to put her in it too, like that and stuff. So if you all need any assistance, we are available. Also, you mentioned about the bonfire, but the bonfire was something I really enjoyed. That's another community building activity that we can get back into. I'm not sure why we run into expenses, but I noticed. Okay, let me say this. When that activity just started, it was me, my cousins, and a few other people who started it off. It was just to develop a bond or unity within the community. There was no certain alcohol being sold. There was not any loud music. And I think that we moved away from that. I'm not sure if a lot of people will agree with me, but I don't agree with the alcohol being sold at the bonfire. How it started off was the perfect way the activity should have been and should have remained. But then all of a sudden it turned into a jam. And I just thought, like, why everything doesn't have to be a jam, everything doesn't have to involve alcohol and people getting drunk. I wanted to bring my little son at the time there, and I didn't want to go anymore because I don't want to expose him to that. He's a little baby. I don't want to expose him to drunk people and it's loud. The music was extremely loud. I tried going there one time with him and I just had to leave because the music was too loud. And I thought, if this is a community building activity, something that we want to encourage each other to get to know each other, to speak, to bond, have something to eat, play some domino, play some ring games, because that is how it was initially when my cousin and I and the rest of us used to go. That was how it was initially. And then all of a sudden it just took this drastic change to become a jam. And I don't understand why it had to change. So I don't know if anybody else agrees with me or think that this makes sense, but I think that when we start the bonfire again, that we should take it back to its original way, of being run, than for it to be a jam. Get rid of the loud music, get rid of the alcohol and being sold, get rid of all of those things, and let's just bond as a community. There's jam night every weekend. People don't need that. People go and jam every weekend. Like, why do we need that? If we have the bonfire, it's to play games, it's a family activity. I could supposed to be able to bring my baby there, or my toddler, or my your young child there, and be able to speak. I could not have a conversation with my cousin there because it was too loud. Like, what are we doing? Why do we have the music so loud? Why we have so many people drinking alcohol and drunk and using foul language? It was supposed to be a family activity, community building, and to encourage unity. Get to know each other. Exactly. This is my contribution. I hope that people who are able to implement it will, do that.
Okay, let me just respond. Okay, let me just say thank you for your contribution, Lindell. Yes, we'll be forming committees because we can't really have the bulk of work falling on the three of us because, we already have a bulk of work falling on the three of us because to battle in the parliament is not easy. But I will be forming committees to help put these activities together. And I do agree with you, the bonfire, everything doesn't have to be a jam because I myself, I can't take it now. So, yes, we need to refocus. And revamp. There are jams, as you say, too much jams. And we really need to do a lot of community things because if there are activities and all the activities look the same, then there's nothing for the children. There's nothing for the family. There's nothing where I can go. And I was speaking to Charles and Paris about how we can tighten what we want to do for independence. And yes, it needs to be a family activity, and this is what we're really focusing on because the jam already exists and it can sell itself. It doesn't need our help.
Okay, very quickly. I think Mr. Paris hand was up, but I go in. No, I don't got to mean never start. Mr. Davis, you said something a while ago and I want to disagree with you. I agree, you need to stop talking about the caretaker because you cannot have two caretakers, right? the community has one representative, and everything must go through that representative. Anything with two heads is a monster. One representative we have, let me work with one representative. And if that is not the case, we're moving away from all of them. But you said that the minister is the source, and that is not true. We have to get away from that mentality. I'm a full believer in doing for self. So Mrs. Charles talked about the estimates that we have. I am so happy that we have those estimates. Coming out of this meeting, can we put a small committee together? Or maybe we can do it at the village council. I don't know if they have too much work to do. They can pass it off to that committee. And we look at those estimates and put it in phases. So we have lights, we have the building refurbishment, we have water, we have the road, we have so, right? Every one of us is strong in something. Can we put it into 5, 6 phases and start to raise funds for each phase? Now, we have to set it up in a way that when we're raising the funds, maybe not the village council, maybe another committee, I don't know, we had MDC, I don't know if that is still around. We can form something else. We are talented people. But here's what I think would resonate with our family and friends outside. They need an organization they can trust. People on the ground that they can identify with, that they can trust. And we can tell them, hey guys, we're doing for the community. We have different currency that you can send. Can you help us to phase this thing? Okay, no, that's not your strength. But we also need gears for the sportsmen and women. We can put a gym down there. So you don't have to send us money. Send us the equipment. We'll go on the port and clear it. Now we'll sell ice pop to clear it too. But the government is not the source. We are. We can do for ourselves. Because if we start now, it's better than waiting 23 years for it. 23 more. So we can start. Let's look at it, put it together, look at it, phase it out, prioritize it, and do one thing at a time. Put our money where our mouth is. Our friends and family overseas that want to come down and vote, or those that don't want to come down and vote, they can send the money for us. And we can do it in a very above board, transparent way, and we can start. We can start. If it's the road, we going down there every Sunday. Some people come and cook. Those of us that have rig, those of us that somebody have an excavator, we'll give them, we don't have money, so we're going to give them fuel. We're going to get, can we do things like that? Is that dreaming too big? Is that too impossible to do? I think we can do, because it's 20 something. I remember I was an athlete, you know. Me and Jason, but two of us too big for that now. We are like a heavy. But we used to go Lyo Park. Lyo Park had gym and the grass was cut. We had a jumping pit and all of those things. Those things were there. But I think if we start one thing at a time, prioritize it, so we know the road is a problem and the grass is a problem. So how much money we need to do that, and how much money we need to maintain it, and can we raise funds from our community? Can we have something on the court every weekend, or can we go to Lyo Park self and keep something every other Sunday? We have something there, and we selling something, the community selling something to raise funds, to put gas, and to maintain the swiper, to cut the road. Just that. Just prioritize it and do one thing at a time. And when people, our friends in the diaspora, people who don't even come to Marigot, they know nothing about Marigot, when they see that we have taken on the challenge of doing for self, somebody, just like how they had give, what is the gentleman name, Mr. Paris, that gave the 750 pumps for the first Marigot hospital? Mr. Macaulay. Just like that gentleman, somebody will come and give us $750,000 to redo the entire park, do a building down there and a hotel with several cottages and so on and so on and so forth. I'm a dreamer. Right? But everything starts in your mind. Everything you see starting in your mind. And I think people, let us remember that it's us that is the source. And every one of us have a strong point. Every one of us have a talent. Stop hiding it. Don't be selfish with your strength. Share it with the community and let's do the thing. So somebody can take the lead. Like as you say, we have load carrying already. But we can set up some kind of committee and look at the estimates, revise them if they need revising, and phase them out. And let's start to do the thing one step at a time. Mr. Paris,
good evening, everyone. Mr. Chairman and the honorable members of the platform, good evening. So I am really encouraged by this meeting this evening. I think these meetings must take place with more frequency. And we shouldn't meet in meetings just to talk. First thing we need to understand, meetings like these and the leadership we have and all of us in attendance, is that the most important resource we have in Marigot is not what is in the vault at the credit union now. The most important resource we have in Marigot is people. And if you have people, it has got nothing you cannot do. So I believe the focus now must be on concentrating on devising plans and programs and methods and schemes to empower our young people, help them to build capacity, that they can mine the treasure that is in Marigot and turn it into gold. So I want you to be patient with me. There's no place in Dominica, where young people can go into their future and a prosperous future. Every carpenter in Dominica have to learn on the job by trial and error. I don't know anywhere girls can go to learn garment building. I don't know where anybody, adult what? Or they have programs? Okay, but I come to the point here because Dominica have been dealt a nasty blow, and I believe the correction of that have to start in Marigot. Those of you all who are old enough, you will remember we had a youth camp at Londonderry. It was one of the finest technical institutions in the region. Richard Charles, you remember when you just came from? Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados. They came to Londonderry. And students will come from the Virgin Islands, from Antigua, from St. Lucia, from St. Vincent to come there. It was a regional institution. And other people, other young men, stock farm. Nobody remember that? Yes. But we shut it down. Anybody remember the GSP program? Yes. We shut it down. Anybody remember the technical vocational program? We frustrated. And so our young boys do have nowhere to go to learn nothing. They end up by the side of the road smoking marijuana. And we find the best thing to do is to take our time, get legal experts, draft a bill, and use a whole parliament to legalize just enough marijuana for them to smoke and sit down by the side of the road so that they will never be able to leave there. Because none of them that on the side of the road don't know how to access a CBI program. And they don't want them to, so they keep them there. You don't find Dominican is mad people? And then they ask him why our young people shooting one another every weekend. We create the monster. So this must be, Marigot has always exhibited a capacity for leadership. We must start, Marigot is the community that have to start to correct that. We need to build a Marigot Polytechnic Institute. We need to build a Marigot Polytechnic Institute. And it's not only for Marigot children. because we have Marigot Development Foundation giving scholarship to all Dominicans, right? So Dominican children would leave and come to Marigot in the day to get trained in the Marigot Polytechnic in things like food preparation technology. I am listening to the news recently, sometime in July or early August, to hear that Antigua is shipping its first container of plantain chips. Where Antigua get the plantain? But we are mad people, we're stupid people, we're stupid. Where Antigua get the plantain? And Dominicans are shame. Okay, all you seen planted chips on the shelf in Dominica marked Sultana? What? Where it come from? Costa Rica. Have you all bought dashing chips? Huh? Anybody see dashing chips on the shelf? Why are we doing that? If Marigot need now, and the diaspora people that are listening to us, we're more than willing to help us. And a lot of us in Marigot have the capacity to write projects that will attract serious investors, that will help us to set up a processing factory here to manufacture dashing chips, plantain chips, breadfruit chips, potato chips, passion fruit juice, cassava chips. We can do all of it. Marigot is the largest landscape occupied by a community. Craig, Crapo Hall, Maiden Ridge, Crown. We get the whole place that's there. So I'm saying, you know how many people planting chips and dashing chips can put to work? No, we'll have to bring in people because you have to get the farms producing. Then you need people to get into the factory. The factory you have to process it, and you have to have young people in the technological and administrative section of the production. And then you have to have some in the marketing aspect of it, right? You can see how many young people you're going to put to work right now, right? They will be so busy looking for beautiful girls to marry. They won't have time to think about killing one another. Because they won't be afraid to establish a family because they know how they're going to support them. And listen to me tonight. Every human being is acting the way they think. Because one writer that I read, he says, a man is what he think of all day long. So if we stand up in Marigot, if we stand up and see ourselves in a mirror, and we say we can't make plantain chips, nobody cannot convince us that we can make it. If you stand up in the mirror and you say, I think I can make dashing chips, you don't need to have money. I start by saying the most important resource we have in Marigot is not what is at the credit union, is the people we have here. We have enough brains, we have enough capacity, we have enough talent, we have enough everything to take charge of our whole prosperity and future. So when I talk about polytechnic, every skill, every trade that is useful that you can use in Dominica to develop your own self and to help your community, and you can use it anywhere you go and get certification, right, can happen right here. And I say there are investors who would be willing to invest with us, and a lot of our own people that overseas will be willing to invest in it as well. So we need to start to focus in this direction. I listened to that young man talk. That young man will be a serious manager of one of your production sectors. There's no reason you have a young man like that in Marigot, and he going to waste it, you know, when people otherwise will be looking for him. So we have plenty like him. And so we need to focus on the building of the capacity of our local people and to taking advantage of what we have. We do have to be bringing plantain chips. Plantain chips to Dominica. Marigot should be preventing Dominica from bringing plantain chips. You understand? So this is my recommendation, my view, and I'm saying with all the technical institutes that we have shut down in Dominica and prevent access to our young boys and young girls from proper technical training, that mistake and that blunder can start to see its correction from Marigot, because Marigot is accustomed to leadership. We lead from the front for many, many years now, and we can do it again and set an example. Cocoa, the chocolate industry, turning over $130 billion a year. You understand? 70% of the cocoa beans coming from sub-Saharan Africa, 6% of the money going back. Dominica has fine and flavor cocoa, the highest quality cocoa bean in the whole world. Only 9 other countries have it. People looking for it. I don't know, God bless us with so much. But we have to, you can have gold. You can have gold in your yard, on your land. But if you don't dig it, if you don't dig for it, it won't be of no good to you. So it's time in Marigot for us to dig for the gold. Thank you.
Okay, we have Thanks very much. Mr. Charles, the chairman for the occasion. I'll always come to these functions because I think it's important when we are called together, our leaders, that we come to hear what is being said, to participate. I'm delighted that young people, like the 3 parliamentarians there, are prepared to come forward and to play their part. I'm almost history now, and Stuart there as well, and almost you. History. So, and if there's anything I love, is to see young people step up to the case. The 3 parliamentarians here, I think we'll all agree, owe their positions at this point in time to a battle which has been fought and which is still being fought, a battle to ensure and to seek to get a truly democratic system operational in our country. And I'm talking about the question of electoral reform. It was in the quest to push for electoral reform, which those people who push for it reckon that it is one of the avenues through which we could get a truly, or move significantly towards a truly democratic society in this country of ours. And I haven't heard, I don't think I heard mention of electoral reform here from among the people who spoke from up there. Perhaps I wasn't listening. But I want to caution us, because not only here tonight, but in this country, I hear people talking about forget politics. We might have a problem, an issue sometimes with party politics, but we cannot forget politics, because the Constitution, one can hold the position of Prime Minister of this country or Minister of Finance of this country, 2 very important positions, if they are not elected representatives. And they cannot be elected representatives if they do not get involved in the politics. Politics, some people say, controls our lives.
Probably might not control totally, but it significantly orders our life and how we live. So it is politics that brings forward those leaders to the level of Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, and who in turn the Prime Minister decides who is going to be Minister here and Minister there. And it is that politics that probably would have contributed to us not having a thriving medical marijuana industry in our country now. Right? Because remember, that came on the scene in terms of the initiative some time ago. And coming out of that political consideration, we end up with the trees of marijuana as the policy, instead of looking to have the medical marijuana industry develop. So now you can say anything about who plants in marijuana, who not plants in marijuana. It cannot debase you in the views of the general public, because we have virtually told our people that marijuana planting and using is okay. So have comfort, my brother. So I wanted to say also, I've heard the suggestions about what we should do in Marigot, and I've heard about organizations. I'm going to say to you, if the filing system at the village council is as I hope it is, you go there and you will find a development plan, a refurbishing plan for Layo Park. Going back how many years ago? When we brought them, as a matter of fact, you know that the Layo Park was developed 1998, 1990 something with significant inputs, financial inputs from the Taiwanese. Right. Okay? And it was a facility where I can tell you that the then Secretary of the West Indies Cricket Board, Gregory Shillingford, was at Layo Park at a match that was being played there. And we talked about the possibility of that place being used as an outside Roso, a facility for engaging even touring parties. Okay? On the question of putting programs together and getting a group together and so on, it is not so much that we don't have the groups and organizations in Marigot. It is the will to do the work. We have the Marigot Village Council, the local government organization. We have the NDC. I think somebody just mentioned a while ago that it's an institution going back 13 or so years, getting a lot of people through the education systems here and abroad. NDC, one of the biggest outside Roso activities is the May Fest, organized by the NDC. So we have an institution here. And then we have the Samsgate Improvement Committee with a constitution prepared and adopted by the Samsgate community, including Mr. Paris and John Davis, who initiated it. So it's not that we don't have the organizations in Marigot. It's a question of the personnel being willing to do the work. So you young people, find out what is there and be prepared to do the work as you've indicated you're willing to do the work. Okay? So when I come to this function, don't call me. Don't call me. Let me sit down and enjoy myself and listen to you all. After the meeting, we can talk. But I'm grateful that we have lights here so far for the full night. But it is politics also and political considerations which contribute in a significant way to why we're having all these inconveniences and so on. So people who are working with, what do you call the place again? No. At Clay Harbor, place like that. And who have to use electricity to do their work cannot do their work, okay? Because political decisions were taken. And so I think it's important, and I would like to just touch on it, I hope I'm not straying, to say that a major contributing factor to why we're having this difficulty is because people played politics with the livelihood of our country. And this business where one government, one administration does something and another one decides to undermine it just for political reasons, and then the people suffer. So I just wanted to take the opportunity at this forum to make the point that all this thing about selling Domlek and this and that and lights out and so on, I just want to make the point that in 1998 thereabout, significant decisions were taken that would allow us to be able to meet our requirements with respect to electricity generation at this time. And that was a political decision to put us in the situation we are. When an agreement was entered into with CDC so that they would get involved and the shares of the government at the time would be passed on to them, to Domlek, CDC. But CDC was committed and obligated under a development plan and a business plan to ensure that there were generators purchased and there was management of the organization so that 25% we would get a reduction of 25% of the tariffs over the how many years. So what we're seeing here now is a result of political decisions. So I wanted to make that point, and I wanted to say also, with respect to all the talk about the young people, especially the young men, I'm concerned about the number of young people, well, men rather, some older than others, who have been dying in our country as a result of prostate cancer, as a male problem, my friend. Okay. So it is Cancer Awareness Month, this month, right? I will, this one, I would like to suggest that our men, we do something to sensitize our men to that danger to us as men, and to be prepared to look after their health. In that regard, there is a gentleman in our community who is a prostate cancer survivor for a number of years now, who is available to have a discussion with the men, young, not so young, within the next few days. And I'm offering to coordinate a get-together, probably by the Ruins. You know the Ruins? Marshall building there now. Probably on Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock so that cancer survivor can talk to us. He was on social media the other day, talking internationally. So can talk to the men about this plague, this issue of prostate cancer that is doing havoc with our men. So they tell me this meeting wasn't well publicized. So I'm taking the opportunity now to start to publicize it. And what's what I'm suggesting there, and hopefully everybody here can get 1-2 young men with them on Monday afternoon around 5 o'clock by the Rays, so that we can talk about the question of how they look after themselves in this important area. So Andrew, thank you. And when you say I come to this meeting again, Richie, leave me alone. Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Anyway, good night. I'm Young Boney, right? Yeah. Tony, I want to tell you thank you, for the league you put on the court. I'm the one basketball player. I can't say. No, I'm sorry. The standing. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I will still stand. So some respect. Anyway, yeah. I just want to tell you thank you, Tony, for the league you put on the court. It was a good thing, although we lost. Yeah. I still want to tell you thank you, man.
You lost, but we saw some potential in the team. So it's just a matter of a little better coaching, and next time you will lose.
We have questions online.
Okay.
Yes, one thing that somebody just made mention of that we did not speak about tonight, what we have for the senior citizens. We've been hearing a lot about the young persons and young adults, but they have not heard anything about the senior citizens.
Well, tonight we didn't speak much about the senior citizens because we have something else in the next town hall for them, but just a little information. One of the things that we usually do, we never forget our senior citizens, and even though you don't hear us broadcasting it, but last year and the year before, I think there was a lot of things that catered. I remember we had a senior citizens party. I remember there was more than one group that had Christmas specials for the senior citizens of the community, particularly those that are shut in. There are a number of outreach programs. I think what the parliamentary team is planning to do is not to recreate the wheel where those things are concerned, but to come behind and offer the support where it comes to senior citizens. Particularly because, in my view, it is a sensitive thing. Sometimes it can be sensitive, senior citizens, they may not always, you have to still leave them with their dignity and the broadcasting and so. But no, we have not forgotten them, and plans are in place to continue to support the ongoing efforts in the community and to partner with our diaspora people to make sure that we always continue to look out for them. And at the very least, just to make them know that we remember that they are there and their contributions to the community and Dominica at large.
We would like to thank all our viewers for joining us live. We have now come to
Yes,
the end of our
at this
broadcast.
point, I think we have saturated the meeting with all the questions. So I'd just like to, there were some beautiful and wonderful suggestions that came from among the audience, and these suggestions will be taken seriously and worked on.